There's rolls right there. You got bowls there.
What? They're not handmade biscuits?
Okay, you don't need to eat. Next. I'll feed your dogs.
So tell me what life is like here in the camp right now.
What are we, about 2 months in? Seems like now that the police are telling everybody to come here, you know, so I'm hoping that that's a good thing. That ODOT's with them, so if we get too many people, we're not going to get kicked out. So, I mean, but it stays quiet. We get a little bit of drama, but nothing much. There hasn't been any physical altercations, no drug paraphernalia, and people are pretty much cleaning up after themselves.
Tell me a little bit about the little governing council that you guys have set up.
That's still kind of like in the beginning stages, you know, back when our forefathers started, you know, I'm sure they had to work things out, and that's kind of how it's going here. Trying to figure out, you know, who's more going to be in control of everything, and then who's going to be in charge of what areas. And as far as me, I mean, I'm part of council as far as, you know, when we vote on things or just get together and talk to everybody. But my job is basically cleaning up the toilets.
You're a veteran, is that right?
Yeah.
So how long were you in the service?
I was in for 5 years. I got out in '91. So just 3 days before they bombed Iraq. So I was sitting on the couch watching that on the news. So, but yeah, it was great. I was a cook, so we did a lot of field exercises, you know, a lot of training. Every time they go out to the field, I always called it camping. You know, got the tents, and it just smells like diesel and everything.
So what happened resulting in you being homeless and in a homeless camp now?
I think a lot of it, I just gave up on myself. Just thinking that I could do any better. I figured it seems like anymore, the way my thinking goes, it's like this is the best I can do. But I'm not like really depressed or anything. It's just kind of like how the thinking's gone over the years. So it's just, I've been homeless probably about the last 5-6 years. Traveled around Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Texas, Tennessee.
Now I've seen some veterans workers from Goodwill and a couple other agencies here. Have you talked with them? Have they been able to help you any?
Yeah, I started talking to them when I first got into town, but then I just kind of got stuck into the camp life and just been hanging out here, kind of seeing where it goes. You know, I know there's a lot of resources out there to get housing and all that, but I'd really like to be able to just, you know, get a place on my own without help, you know, agencies. You know, it'd make me feel more like I accomplished something if I'm able to just afford my own place and keep it going and keep up with the bills. And to me, that's like a normal person. You know, just kind of living life day to day and just keep going.
When you've been filming documentaries among the homeless for several years, you're going to run across some familiar faces. That's what happened when I found Chancey Lee at Camp Hope. All right, so you and I talked last summer down at Coeur d'Alene Park, and now here you are at the tent camp. What's been going on the past 6 months?
Well, about pretty much the same. One day at a time. Can't get no housing. Been approved. Got the money, but there ain't none out there.
So where were you staying before you came down here?
I move my truck every 2 days, just wherever I can find it's quiet. Yeah, I just move it every 2 days. Down around HOC, they want you to move every 24 hours.
Now you said you've got money for housing?
Yeah, Section 8. $920 a month I got toward housing. I can't even find a efficiency apartment. They got them all over the place. It's just, when I first got here, she said, sure, you can sign up. You only got a 2.5 to 3 year wait. I thought she was just joking. She was not joking. I talked to a lot of people in the street. Oh yeah, that's about right. I mean, that's a long time to wait for one of those little apartments.
Sunshine on a winter day in mid-February can be deceptive. For the 100 or so homeless campers at Camp Hope, The next few days would bring snow and overnight temperatures down to 4 degrees. Not the kind of weather anyone would choose for camping in a tent. So Danny, tell me what you guys are doing to prepare for the cold weather.
So the propane tanks, getting everybody hand warmers and gloves and jackets, socks. What else we give them?
Are people worried about the weather and what's going to happen the next few days?
I think everybody's okay. I mean, we've dealt with it before,
I don't think
so
a lot. Oh, sorry.
we got the warmer tent here, and everybody usually comes together, pulls together in hard times to make it through. So I think we'll be all right.
During the difficult winter months of 2022, the number of people at Camp Hope stayed around 100. No one wants to camp outside in snow, ice, and frigid temperatures. But as the weather began to moderate into spring, and word about the camp as a safe place that wouldn't be swept by law enforcement began to spread, the numbers began to rise, with RVs, campers, tents, and people all showing up and looking for a safe place to exist.
Someone's card showed up.
Yeah, but we're counting tents and stuff right now.
So come see us up there, okay?
Okay, stop. Tell me what just happened.
So Chris got his Social Security, and he got a Social Security settlement. So we've been waiting for his card to get here so we can get him somewhere safe to stay outside of the city.
He has enough money on it to,
He has
to
enough
restart.
money to restart his life. It's not just hundreds of dollars, it's thousands of dollars. And he has enough money right now to get out of here. So we had to talk to him about being responsible, one, with the money, and two, not letting anybody know that he has it. There's a lot of predators, and predators like to use folks in his situation, and we just need him to use that money to get out of homelessness. What's up, brother?
Is there somewhere, a facility where we could like wash clothes so we got clean clothes?
We can give you a laundry card and you can go up to the laundromat.
Okay.
Okay.
Can we work on that?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
no problem. Is this somebody separate or are these all together?
All kind of together, there's different people.
But different people, right? I'm just trying to count how many tents we got. Right on.
These two are mine. This one is kind of open at the moment, but I'm sure someone could use it. So
Right on.
that's a friend of mine. That one's mine. So
Sounds good. Thank you. Okay, so we're at 172 tents. 2, 3, 4. I'm counting RVs now. 5, 6, 7. It just gives us an idea of how many people may be here. Hi, brother.
we're just dropping off pallets.
Oh, we appreciate
There's
you.
a woman that just came. She's in flip-flops, no shoes. She needs shoes. She needs blankets.
Where's she at?
We're gonna go get her.
Okay, right on.
She doesn't have a tent, so we're bringing her a tent.
Okay.
And she doesn't have blankets or anything, so we're bringing
You
her
can
a
grab
tent.
blankets and shoes up at the center. I just don't think we have any tents up there.
Yeah, I have a tent.
Yeah, at our, have you ever been up to our center?
No.
Here, write our
Write that
address down. It's 1819 East Springfield. It's literally half a mile from here.
Okay.
And you can get everything that they need there. And we let community members pick it up and bring it out, whatever. There's shoes, there's clothing. I'm just pretty sure we don't have a tent.
Yeah, we have the tent, and she wants to be baptized too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go deal with this guy, and I'll be back. Hey! I got it. Okay. Okay, which? Okay, if you stop yelling.
Yeah, no shit.
Okay, you got a leash for that dog?
It's fucking
Whose dog is it? Okay, it needs a leash. or I gotta call, no, or I gotta call Scraps.
And so, but
You got a rope? Rope. I'll handle it. Leash, or he's gotta go.
okay, he's not feeding our dogs, but
He keeps slipping his harness. That's what it is.
Okay, but we can't have him biting, folks. That's not acceptable.
they're poked. I don't know what's that. I'll add this.
Okay, so
He was freaking out.
we need a collar and a leash for him. Yep, and let's get him on it, because if he's running around, we're gonna have to call Scraps to come get him. So it's really just maintaining a little bit of order every day, coming in and letting them know that folks are here and that there's rules and that we go by them. I mean, they are outside and they are managing themselves, but what we do is just come through, tell them where we see areas of concern, break up issues that are going on. Like there's 390 some people here. Yesterday they said 401, that's the closer number, but they're all trying to maintain on one city block, so they need some kind of structure and knowing that somebody just hasn't left them here to die. So we just come through every day. We try to do what we can for them to help them learn how to manage all by themselves. And we allow the security and the teams to do their job. That's not our job, it's theirs. So we just try to empower them to have a voice to do that. So what we've got to be able to do is, Danny has a sign-in sheet. He's going to have people come and sign initials and say, yep, I went through all of them and I pulled out the crap. The clothing, anything that's not waste or toilet paper just needs to come out. Because if we can build a really good relationship with American Onsite, who's trying to help us, we can get some more porta potties and keep this camp going.
Yeah.
But the health department will not budge on this part of it.
I noticed there are currently, I believe, 12 porta potties.
There are 12. There's supposed to be 16, and we deal with what we can get. It started with 6. A lady named Barb Brock, a supporter of Jules Helping Hands, gave us 6 porta potties for a month. We didn't know how long this encampment was going to last, or if it was. We had no idea on what was going to happen. There was no plan ahead of time. So the 6 porta potties got there, and the camp began to grow. And we couldn't keep up with the 6 porta potties. Our porta potty company was gonna pull out because they literally had to come out every day and dump them. We asked the city, we spent a couple months begging the city to give us porta potties to put out there. At least it keeps the public health and safety under control. And they refused. So Empire Health decided to help us out and pay for some more porta potties to come out, and we worked out a really good agreement with American Onsite about we would clean the porta potties if they would just dump them. So as of currently, the campers at Camp Hope clean the porta potties, and American Onsite comes out and dumps them. So we had all this trash bagged up and taken out from all of the camp last night for moving tents, and a young woman came through last night, slid open all the bags and lit our dumpster on fire. So we are now today cleaning up her mess so that we don't get blamed for it for the rest of the community. Garbage at the camp is there's 468 people here. Everything that they use has to be disposable. We have no access to water, we have no access to cleaning things, we have no access to electricity, so it's all disposable. And we put it in garbage containers, and most people think that the homeless people just came and throw their stuff everywhere. That is not the case. I left here last night at 8 p.m. and this was clean, everything was bagged, and then somebody comes in, rips open their bags, and again we're doing it all over. So we just continuously clean up, house people's messes who think it's funny to harass these folks. The city of Spokane is paying for the dumpsters. So we want to make sure that it stays clean around them. And we get blamed for all of the trash in the neighborhood. So if it becomes windy, it'll blow this trash over there, and then we will have to go pick it up again. So we figured we'd just get it done now and not get blamed for it tomorrow.
I remember when the camp started, I filmed the initial setup of the camp, and there may have been, I don't know, a dozen tents and 20 residents, and Then it got up to, I think you said 68. Did you ever, in your wildest imaginations back in December, think that come June there'd be 500 people camped on that property?
No, Maurice, here's why. Collectively, people experience homelessness have never worked together. Because when you're in survival mode, it is absolutely impossible to focus on doing more than what's needed to survive. So homelessness is very selfish, and that is because our brain pops into survival mode, and it is merely keeping you alive. Where are you going to sleep tonight? Where are you going to eat today? Are you going to be safe? Those are basic needs, and those need to be, they need to have those first, then to be able to move on to something else. And when people outside and unsheltered, even living in 20 of them under a bridge, they're not collectively working together. Camp Hope is collectively working together. Is it perfect? No. And they're still learning how to do that because their basic needs aren't all met. But they have right now a place that they're not afraid to stay at, and that they're not going to get moved tomorrow. They know they're going to get moved eventually, but today they're safe.
Well, let's talk about basic life in the camp. What have been your biggest challenges overseeing a camp of this size? It is the largest sustained homeless encampment in the state of Washington, maybe in the Pacific Northwest. It's huge.
Yes.
So what kind of challenges have you faced?
First, the sheer amount of people. Just finding space for the people who show up every day with no place to exist. So trying to get RVs and cars, because that's a big population of folks that live unsheltered, are people who live in RVs and cars. Getting them onto this small piece of property with all these tents as well. So just the space, first of all. Secondly, we're dealing with people with immense trauma, all trying to coexist together, and we're doing this with no funding at all. There is not funding to have security and employees and peer support. We don't have any money for that. So we had to be able to teach the camp to pick up the slack from what we couldn't do. We still support the camp. We've taught them how to create government. They have their own security team. We don't, at Jules Helping Hands, have a staff member that stays on site. We don't even have a staff member that is on site for half of the day. We just come in and out of the camp and talk regularly with the campers there. The city has given us 2 security guards 24 hours a day, but they're not allowed to engage with our clients.
Knowing I'm building a documentary about Camp Hope, people frequently ask me to describe or explain the camp. I tell them that this isn't Camp Spalding run by the Presbyterians. This is a mess, a homeless camp created ad hoc out of necessity and run primarily by the residents who came to the camp due to a lack of options, deeply traumatized, and trying to build some meaningful sense of community, safety, stability, and yes, hope. A fragile hope created by the fact that someone cared enough about them to create a safe place for them to exist until they could find something better. For the more than 600 residents of Camp Hope, daily life and hope are a work in progress.